2010 Tesla Roadster is up for auction. October 6, 2022. Tesla made and sold over 2,400 Roadsters from mid-2018 until January 2012. Making it quite an achievement for what was an expensive weekend toy to most. Around 1,500 examples stayed in the US, with the most common colors were blue, black, red and silver. At the other end of the spectrum we have much rarer colors like the brilliant yellow metallic or the so-called very orange on this car that is going up for auction. Its listing on Cars and Bids says this 2010 example with under 2,000 miles on its odometer is mostly unmodified and it looks like it's in excellent condition. The passenger's seat mat still has its original plastic cover. Scrolling through the gallery made up of nearly 100 photos. This Tesla looks really well maintained in terms of its paint, with no real signs of aging or wear. When new, its options amounted to $28,100. Bringing this Roadster's window sticker price with destination charge included to $139,050. The paint, the forged wheels, adjustable suspension, carbon fiber accents, heated seats and forged wheels all brought up the price. But none more so than the $9,000 carbon exterior pack, the $6 optional two-tone leather interior or the $4,000 adjustable suspension. The owner is listing the vehicle as lightly modified because he had the front part covered in paint protection film. Although this doesn't really count as a modification in our book. The only known flaw are the tires, which are the original ones that came with the car manufactured in 2009. So they should be changed by the new owner before attempting to go on a spirited drive. It comes with one key, the owner's manual, the original window sticker, 110-volt charging cable and mobile charging connector, the soft top with carrying case and a car cover. It is currently being sold by a dealership in Hayward, California on behalf of the owner. The current highest bid is $90,000. There are 4 bidders and 4 days left to bid. Source reposted and summarized from Andre Nedelier at Inside EVs. Might take a super cool addition to any car collection. Tesla celebrates 10,000 supercharges in Europe. October 6, 2022. Tesla recently announced that it has 10,000 superchargers serving owners in Europe. Tesla has more than 35,000 superchargers worldwide, offering a recharge of up to 200 miles for around 15 minutes. EV chargers are necessary for the world to transition from fossil fuel vehicles to all-electric battery-powered cars. The supercharger network contributes significantly to Tesla's goals. In November 2021, Tesla launched its Supercharger pilot program for other EV brands in Europe. The non-Tesla Supercharger pilot program is expected to roll out in the United States soon. It's always been our ambition to open the Supercharger network to non-Tesla EVs, and by doing so, encourage more drivers to go electric, noted the company about its non-Tesla Supercharger pilot program. More customers using the Supercharger network enables faster expansion. Our goal is to learn and iterate quickly, while continuing to aggressively expand the network, so we can eventually welcome both Tesla and non-Tesla drivers at every supercharger worldwide. The non-Tesla Supercharger pilot program is available in select EU countries. It is currently available in France, the Netherlands, Norway, the United Kingdom, Spain, Sweden, Belgium, Austria, Denmark, Finland, Germany, Luxembourg, Switzerland, and Iceland. The EV automaker offers 2 supercharger plans in Europe, one for Tesla owners and another for non-Tesla owners. Non-Tesla owners must download the Tesla app, version 4.2.3 or higher, to use supercharger stalls. According to the company, Tesla drivers are charged the same price. On the other hand, rates for non-Tesla drivers vary depending on the site. They may view the charging price through the Tesla app. Source reposted and summarized from Maria Morano at Tesla RT. My take: we need those superchargers. They are the gas stations of the future. Tesla may soon expand battery Gigafactory in Nevada. October 6, 2022. When we covered Tesla in the early days, much of the news surrounded the company's original automotive factory in Fremont, California, as well as its battery Gigafactory in partnership with Panasonic, which is located near Reno, Nevada, in Sparks. However, it seems construction and expansion efforts at the battery factory slowed years ago, leaving the factory much smaller than originally planned. Tesla moved on to building new factories, sourcing battery cells from various makers. and developing and producing its own new batteries. Recently, an executive from Tesla noted that the company is finally at the point that it has access to all the batteries it needs for its cars and energy products. We also learned recently that Tesla hopes to build a battery materials refining factory in Texas or nearby. The company is also reportedly aiming to add a battery materials facility in Nevada. According to Electrek, Tesla's Gigafactory Nevada has been sitting at about 30% of its intended size for years now. Over those years, the automaker has talked about continued construction efforts and expansion, but there hasn't been much progress. This is not to say that the company isn't cranking out battery packs, Powerwalls, and the like in Nevada. Tesla has also finally been putting solar panels on the roof, and there's been periodic work on the grounds and the inside of the building. But it's been above 5 years since Tesla added to the Gigafactory's footprint. The massive Tesla Gigafactory was touted to eventually be the largest factory on the planet. In fact, if it were to grow to its full potential, it could be the largest building ever constructed. Tesla shared early plans revealing that the battery factory would eventually produce 105 gigawatt-hours of battery cells per year. The company also said that at full capacity, the Nevada Gigafactory would produce 150 gigawatt-hours of battery packs annually. That said, rather than investing in expanding the already large building, Tesla and Panasonic have focused their efforts and investments on ramping up production. It seems there's not a need for more space if you haven't yet ramped up to full capacity under the current parameters. Electrek refers to sources familiar with the matter in its recent reports that Tesla will expand the Nevada Gigafactory with a new C-section. According to the reports, the section will fit into the existing elbow of the L-shaped building. If you look at the image above, the new section would be at the top left corner, next to where the building juts out to the right. The publication didn't provide a timeline for the potential expansion, though the story made it seem as though it will be happening rather quickly. This comes as no surprise since Tesla has moved forward at a rapid pace with its other recent construction projects. Source reposted and summarized from Stephen Loveday at Inside EV. My take everywhere you look. Tesla is ramping up and expanding. Tesla's lead over all other automakers. October 6, 2022. Way more than most of them can handle. As anyone who's shopped for an EV recently can tell you. The surging demand is due to a number of factors. Gas prices are up, and so is awareness of the climate emergency. But the main impetus is that the technology has gotten a lot better. And the price premium over legacy stinkers is far too slowly, but surely shrinking, over the next couple of years. The new incentives in the Inflation Reduction Act, along with the boost to infrastructure investment in the bipartisan infrastructure law, will turbocharge demand even further. Some companies, such as Ford and GM, are rising to the challenge, rushing to increase production, reform their creaky corporate structures and dealership networks, and build new supply chains that prioritize local production of batteries and other components. Others continue to try to hold back the tide, pouring millions into anti-EV lobbying efforts. But even the industry's most backward-looking brand, Toyota, is quietly building battery capacity and planning new models. All this is good news. But what should have been done in an organized way over the last several years is now taking place in a mad scramble. The vibe in the auto industry at the moment is chaos. And it's hurting the business. Customers are having to wait for months or in some cases, years, to get the cars they want. And automakers are leaving gobs of money on the table. However, there's one automaker that seems to be cruising smoothly down the highway. As the rest of the pack struggles, Tesla has also suffered from shortages of chips and other components, to say nothing of some self-inflicted PR disasters. But it continues to enjoy an absolutely dominant market share in most of its markets. Furthermore, at a time when other brands are struggling to keep up with demand, some would-be buyers of the much-anticipated Hyundai Ioniq 5 have been told they'll have to wait 2 years. Tesla recently announced that it has trimmed its famous order backlog, and wait times for some models have been reduced to mere weeks. Golly, what's their secret? Well, there's never been any secret. We EV journalists have been writing articles, pieces, columns and posts about Tesla's advantages over the legacy companies for some years now. However, the contrast between the two schools of automotive thought has come into sharp relief now that the old guard finds itself in production-constrained mode. James Carter, a prolific poster of EV-related information on LinkedIn, recently fielded a question from an employee of one of the legacy OEMs: why is Tesla always able to expand and doesn't have the supply constraints that we do? I don't get it. In response, Mr. Carter eloquently expressed some of the concepts that may seem rather obvious to Tesla's Silicon Valley-oriented milieu, but that appear to remain secrets to those brought up in the traditional auto industry. One thing that may have enabled Tesla to navigate the components shortages more dexterously is the comparative simplicity of its catalog. The company offers only 4 models. And lately, it's mainly been pushing the 2 newer ones, Models 3 and Model Y. Each model generally comes in only 3 variants: RWD, LR, Performance, and offers only 3 major options: interior color, exterior color, and wheels. This is a lean lineup compared to any of the other automakers. And as Carter notes, it makes parts sourcing in tight supply situations much easier. Tesla is also much more vertically integrated than other auto OEMs. The company makes many parts itself, and is able to maintain tighter control of development and production. This was not always the case. The young Tesla relied heavily on outside suppliers and even another automaker, Lotus, to build the Roadster. But as the company grew, it found that suppliers couldn't keep up with its fast pace of innovation in both vehicles and production processes. And it gradually brought more and more functions in-house. This policy served Tesla well when the chip shortage reared its ugly head. Like every other automaker, Tesla wasn't able to get the chips it had ordered in sufficient quantities. However, because of its unified computing architecture and its tight control over its software, it was able to rewrite its software in order to take advantage of the chips that were available. We have used alternative parts and programmed software to mitigate the challenges caused by these shortages. The company said, the legacy automakers didn't have that option, because their computing software and hardware was under the control of suppliers. Vertical integration and a lean lineup are just a couple of the factors that enable Tesla to succeed. But the defining difference is that Tesla exists only to sell EVs, as Mr. Carter notes. It doesn't have to maintain supply chains for 2 different types of powertrains. It has also been able to set much more aggressive production targets than any of the incumbents. Most automakers would bet big on EVs, because they didn't want to divert resources from their existing and until recently extremely profitable gas guzzlers. They were, and some remain, skeptical that EVs would catch on. So they set comically timid production targets. And this is now coming back to bite them, as the more forward-looking companies Ford, GM, VW, Hyundai understand. Going electric isn't just a matter of launching new cars. It's going to require a complete restructuring of their companies, and yes, this is going to involve making some painful decisions. These companies have built vast empires over many decades. And in order to thrive in the electric future, they're going to have to tear them down and rebuild them. Tesla, on the other hand, and hopefully, startups such as Lucid and Rivian, just needs to scale up what it already has. Source reposted and summarized from Charles Morris at EVANNEX. My take: only the Chinese automakers are a concern for Tesla.